Namaste, Your Royal Majesty, and welcome to Soul Horoscope Superscopes. My name is Christopher Witecki. I'm your Sensei to Sirius Joy, and we are stepping into a new light this week with the Sun in Aries. Now, this is for Leos, Leo risings, and what I call the step ones. There are 11 steps to Sirius Joy, and when you're a Leo or a Leo rising, you are exceptionally good at step one, which is I love me. I love myself. Now, that said, where are the love casters pointing right now? Well, in the last 30 days, the Sun was in Pisces, and so it was really about regaining trust in yourself. That might have been through a connection to someone else, an intimate connection, a sexual connection. You might have departed from a very deep connection to someone. Someone might have died in your life. A lot of profound spiritual shifts in self-trust and deep private changes. Now with the Sun in Aries, it's time to carry that to belief, and this time it's going to be a quantum shift upward, I think, for the Leos and Leo risings. But first, let me catch up to speed to some of the other hot topics going on. For one, Your Majesty, Mars is retrograde in Libra. This means that no matter what you're thinking, think differently. You're going to change your attitude, change your voice, change your messenger role. If you are any type of messenger, any type of communicator, that your sexiness is going to change in the way you express yourself. And that is on change until May 20th. And the way you talk to yourself is most important. So looking at the way you talk to yourself. In the same sense, Mars retrograde on the planet means the ego energy is deflated. It is difficult to find the energy to do things. And this really separates the men from the boys, so to speak, in the sense of your ability to find your strength and find your ability to go on without Mars pushing you all the time. So it's a real shift in that sort of thing. Saturn has now retrograded, which means also when it comes to being responsible, the universe is not going to be on your back either for a few months. And for Leos and Leo risings, this is with emotional boundaries. So you must be there and strong for yourself emotionally. Be the parent to yourself emotionally. You're not going to learn new lessons, but you must be there for the old lessons. In the same sense, you should begin to, if you have been there and strong for yourself emotionally, you will likely regain the benefits such as home, family, foundation, relationship to nurturing parent, change. These are some of the benefits, and a better overall feeling of strength and security comes in the retrograde if you did your work. If you didn't do the soul work in the last 6 months, you might have some hardships hit in those categories. Jupiter direct means that you will now move forward with inner faith building once again. You have gone through the hardest part of it, which was to cut away the boogeyman, to cut away the karma, cut away the deep stuff. Now you will draw in the next chapter. For Leos and Leo risings, this might be past life lovers. This might be past life connections in soulmate situations. You want to ask yourself and be conscious if your heart is really there 100%. And really, I would say you won't know until this summer when Jupiter goes into Leo whether or not it's past life or meant to also continue in this life. I teach a lot of that in my personal readings. But what you're working on now actually is your belief structure. This is the I believe state of awareness, and I believe comes from the heart, and really the only thing we really believe in is what our heart tells us, and it's hard for us to live by our beliefs and not be dedicated to things other than what our heart tells us. And so in the next 3 or 4 weeks, old belief structures will be breaking down, and these old belief structures were the root of your strength. So a Leo and a Leo rising's belief structure is a core of who they are and what they act or don't act on. With Mars retrograde, which means the way you think is also retrograded. And this means that a Leo may or may not have been aligned to their heart's belief, and this will be a breakdown. So as we move into this week, the first week, part of the week, will be breakdowns wherever your heart was not aligned. So any breakdowns in relationships, anything your heart wasn't behind may break down, basically, especially with Mars retrograde, especially forms of communication and forms of transportation would break down with Mars retrograde. This might hit you in your lifestyle also, or in your health on Monday and Tuesday. And then it shifts into feelings of your marriage. But then by Thursday, there's a real feeling that things will be okay, I believe, for the Leos and Leo risings. Love Fest Day is on Thursday, and that's the greatest day of feeling love. It will be in the house of marriage and partnership. So I think you'll feel very proud to be yourself, and you'll feel connected to certain people in your life that will feel really good. And from those connections, I predict you will feel strong, and that will be really maybe knowing your truth. From the connections to others, you'll probably feel and know your truth, or know where your heart really is with certain things. It could also work inside out to where you are feeling your disconnection to those around you, and you're not feeling the love except for from yourself. And if that's the case too, then it's time to love yourself, and it's time to be with only yourself in this case. And that's where there's a real strength in the relationship to the self, and where there's again alignment to the heart. So you may or may not, in being in the presence of others, it may be from a connection or a disconnection either that serves the purpose of you finding connection to your own heart, which is the essence of a Leo and the essence of your beliefs. So by Friday, you are deciding what your heart can no longer subscribe to, and therefore leaving room for anything your heart might want to subscribe to. And now is the time with the moon in Pisces to apply that flexibility and self-mercy and self-compassion you learned last month, and that self-grace. So that self-grace must be applied as you're making those hard decisions at the end of the week. Then taking a sneak peek at next week, it will be Lightcast Day on Sunday, which is the most powerful day of the month to manifest your personal intention. So this is where your heart really have to have the most righteous truth. Mars will rule the first half of the day, so you'll be feeling very strong even though it's Mars retrograde, and hopefully you'll be holding that space and loving and trusting that everything will be all right. The following day on Monday, the sun crosses Uranus, which means your life itself may feel that actual change. So some powerful stuff. Now for the 1VQs, those people who have Venus in Leo, and for many Leos and their love stories, your love story is going to move profoundly forward this week with Venus at 15 degrees and ending the week at 22. So the love stories will be to where I think your mind will finally align with what your heart wants, and you'll be honest with yourself about what your heart wants. And this may or may not be to where you have drawn in through law of attraction the partners you want. Those in existing relationships will certainly be saying they want more as well, and feel that you want to give and receive more love as well. By the end of the week, on Lightcast Day, Venus will be at 22 degrees, which means the 1VQs will be really passionately expressing and exchanging some sort of emotional potential, I think in love, I think somewhere. It could be in a business relationship as well, but it's likely romantic just based on what Leos and Leo risings want. And so again, you're going to want to remain really flexible with yourself and self-compassionate and self-merciful to let that amazing exchange of love go over the border. It's literally in the house of marriage for Leos, Leo risings, and 1VQs this week. So some really cool, powerful stuff. I'm excited for y'all. Now, that said, if you want to go deep and see how this story ends this month, I have the March Megascope. Your call to action is to come down to soulmart.me and download yours for just $9.99. They're available, and they will play on your iPhone or on your Google device. So I look forward to seeing you there as well and getting even deeper about love and, of course, about where you're going with that new belief structure and the major shift. All right, Your Royal Majesty, I'm so grateful for you showing up. It's great to be back on the air, and I'll see you in 7 days with more. Until then, live, love, be.
So